we're talking about fans and stuff, man. I mean, back in Mid-South, Florida, places like Territory days, man, your car would get beat up. I've had my tires cut by fans. I've had, windshield broken by fans. Had junk thrown at my house and bottles thrown at my vehicle driving down the street, Almost hit Mary in the head one night, was leaving New Orleans, and somebody threw like a big giant Gatorade bottle, one of those glass ones before they had the plastic ones, and almost smashed in the side and come in the window and hit her in the head. If I wouldn't have pulled out of the lane and hit a car beside of me, I had to hit the car. It would have smashed in, smashed her. But it's just, fans were just insane. I'm telling you. I mean, they hated you and they didn't care. They was gonna get you one way or the other.
Yeah. What was some of the worst for both of y'all? What was some of the worst towns related to dealing with fans?
Worst towns for me back in the day was New Orleans at that downtown arena.
I knew you were going to say that.
It's still bad.
Or whatever. That was probably the top of the list for me, was that place. It was just, once the matches were over and you went out back, it was just crazy with people throwing stuff at you and junk. And it wasn't that bad. It was still that bad in the arena, too. I mean, it was just that bad, too, especially if you was, say, in the main event with Junkyard Dog on a heated angle. It was really, really a dangerous place. Because, man, everybody at the Dome, everybody.
They love the dog, man.
Love JYD. And I ain't just talking about white people either.
No.
No, we talked about that. I mean, I'm not afraid to say it, but that this is true. Junkyard Dog wrestling traditionally was not a business where you had maybe a ton of African American fans or even African Americans in the sport. But JYD, he drew African American fans, and it's not racist to say that. He drew African American fans to the building in droves.
He honestly did.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, we'd go up into Arkansas and Mississippi, some of those small little towns, and honestly, 95, maybe more than that, % of the house would be, African American people,
Right.
And now, I mean, you just never really saw that anywhere. You may have, wrestlers on your team or in that territory, like, that's African American, but they just didn't draw, their people like Junkyard Dog did. Junkyard Dog's people really came out and put money down to come and see him.
Absolutely.
And they they loved that man. They'd get that chant going, and all that for him. And heck, I mean, you ever watch his interviews? He'd get on there and talk about all that crazy stuff, ham hocks and this and that. Just
yeah.
And then people
talking
love
the
that,
language.
man. Yeah, and people love it. I mean, honestly love that. And people went crazy for that man. It's just, unless you was out there or been in that area and seen that, you could say that. But, I mean, them people honestly loved JYD.
Yeah. Yep.
They had an emotional investment in it.
They sure did, that's for sure. You ain't joking about that.
That's what drew them in, man.
Yeah, he did draw him in too.
Yeah, I mean, he could pass. I figured you were going to say. I figured you were going to say that building.
That's what made him so good too. He crossed both lines where he'd draw white people and he would draw African Americans also.
Right.
He'd draw on everybody. So when you do that, you selling some serious tickets.
You got that right.
Yeah. If you were lucky, I say the lucky heel is lucky because, you're going to make some good paydays from working with him, but unlucky because you got to fight all these fans every night. To get out of the ring, to get to the dressing room is just basically a fist fight sometimes,